announcement has been paid for by the nWBro's podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's Blade, Big Kev, and Karlifornia. It's the nWBro's podcast.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the nWBro's podcast here for episode 13. WCW Fall Brawl 1996 review here with the nWBro's. I'm Karlifornia, one of your hosts. It's just great to be with you all once again. And speaking of being great to be with anyone, being with my nWBro's is where it's at. First and foremost, Big Kev, what is happening, bro?
Oh, another week. Looking forward to it. We got another bunch of new subs have joined us on our little podcast. Yeah, it's just growing every week. And I think it was the last episode that come out on Monday. You know, we were celebrating having 100 followers. Now it's up to, I don't know,
112, I think.
Yeah, so it's growing every week. And but these people got to let us know who you are. We want to talk to you. Let us know. Give some comments. Let's do some, a bit of discussion. It'll be fun.
Yeah, we want to be your friends. We want to know what's going on in your life. And speaking, I want to know what's going on in this guy's life right now. It's our other esteemed co-host here, the one and only Blade. How you going, my friend?
Oh, I know we keep talking. Maybe this is the third time I brought this up on the podcast, but this Australian summer, and we were talking about this just before we went on air. It's real bad. Like, I feel like the fucking underside of Bastion Booger's taint at the moment. Like, it's gross. It's sweaty. I hate it. Like, I just want summer to be done and dusted so I can record this podcast in, relatively climate weather. It's horrid. I hate it.
Yeah, me too. I can't wait for it to be over. And now that you've said that, the little TV screen at the bottom of the page here is going to have Bastion Booger's taint pop up in there. So thanks for that, Blade.
And the thing is, the people from America would be watching us. Your summer's completely different than ours because the ozone layer with that sun over here, you just get nailed and you get burnt pretty quickly. Whereas I remember when I was over in the US of A, you could be out in the sun for ages and you get a nice tan. You won't get burnt, but where we are, that sun just kicks our ass.
Horrible, bro. I hate it more than anything. I hate sweating. I hate it. Anyway, let's get on to...
What if you're getting laid?
Oh, that's fine then, bro. That's heaps sick, man. Okay, so again, getting to know the nWBro's. We've got another question this week that I've come up with, and it is for Blade and Kev and myself to answer here. Blade, I'm throwing to you first. What is your dream match that never happened in pro wrestling history?
Easy lock. And I know that both of these men have spoken about it before, because they would have loved the match too. Kurt and Brett. When you talk about technical wrestling and those styles, like, god damn, they would have put on a barn burner. And our good friend Meltzer would have been forced to give Kurt a 5-star match. Absolute piece of shit.
Actually, and Brett. I don't even know if Brett's got a 5.
Wow, okay.
I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that, but fuck. Kev, do you have a dream match?
Can you hear me? Because I feels like I'm getting cut out. It's just sort of paused.
Okay,
No,
you've come back for me, Kev. Carl is still frozen.
Okay.
Actually, Blade froze for me then.
We all froze.
It says my internet connection is unstable.
So you're the problem.
It'll be fine. Anyway, Kev, dream match.
Dream match. I mean, Undertaker Sting's the obvious choice here, but I don't know. I'm going to throw something different. I reckon Ultimate Warrior and Goldberg would have been a 5-star match. Just a spectacle. I would have been, I'd have loved to see that.
I'm a bit weird with dream matches. Like, I'd love to see the Ultimate Warrior versus the Renegade. But that is not my ultimate dream match. Look, Sting and Undertaker, Kurt and Brett, very good choices. Would have been very close for me as well. But for me, I always wanted to see The Rock versus Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania.
Yeah, good choice.
What a shame. Anyway, let's get on with it, guys. So we're starting off here with WCW main event. One of the final stops before Fall Brawl 1998. They open the show talking about Glacier. I know Bobby gets impatient with Gene to begin the proceedings of the episode. We also get an NWO announcement. Blade, I'm throwing it to you first.
Yeah, so this seemed to be a bit of a like continuation. I sort of thought it almost felt like a blooper reel because they seemed a lot more freeform and sort of improv-y where they were just sort of joking around. And they start making this impossible list of demands building off what DiBiase was speaking about in the actual one. The thing that made me laugh the most out of it was that DiBiase goes, I want to be the color commentator, and then Hall says that he wants Mongo's dog.
I missed that.
Like
I don't remember that either.
It's so good. Nick Patrick is also brought up a few times when they discuss having an unbiased referee. They're like, Nick Patrick's a stand-up guy. I thought it was great. I kind of like how they release them again with sort of some slight variations to it. It means they get extra like bang for their buck, I suppose. So yeah, I thought this one was particularly good.
Yeah, I reckon it might have been the best one. Yeah. Kev, what were your thoughts?
Yeah, I wrote down for my notes that this felt a little bit different than the rest. I think Blade sort of said the same thing. It felt a bit more, I don't know, it was a bit more rogue feeling to it. I don't know, a bit more loose. I don't know. I can't put my finger on exactly what it was, but yeah, it was just a little bit different than the rest, and I enjoyed it. But yeah, I think Blade covered a lot of what I wanted to say as well. But yeah.
Yeah, I don't really have much to add there. But I did I particularly like the part where Scott Hall was mentioning that they wanted Ric Flair's limo. And then it was kind of explained to him that maybe that wouldn't be the best idea because of what's happened in there in the past. And then Scott's like, okay, no, we don't want it. So the next segment here on main event, last thing we're talking about for this episode of main event, Gene does a bit of research and he manages to enhance the audio of Ted DiBiase talking into the limo when he's holding the umbrella. And it's clear that he's talking to Sting. Kev, what did you think of that?
Yeah, it's kind of cool how they can sort of take this angle and they can make an episode of main event from this. We'll show it from different angles and enhance the audio and do all this kind of stuff. That's very clever. You're kind of doing instead of doing like a highlights package or you put stuff together, they've let's analyze it, let's have a look at it from different angles. Pretty creative, I think.
Yeah, I think it's like cool that they're trying to give a reason for people to want to tune into such a little syndicated show like main event. Blade, anything to add?
I think the only bit that makes me laugh is the enhancement of the audio and all those sort of things gives me almost like a NCIS or CSI vibe. When they're in the lab and they're like looking at the evidence to try and build a case. It just gives me that feeling, which I think is hilarious. Because you're like, well, it's not legitimately true. What has Gene got like some sort of like sonar software that he's got from like the Department of Defense from the US government or something? like WCW's not got access to that sort of technology. So I don't know. It just makes me laugh. I love it.
It's been taken so seriously. Let's move forward to September 14th, the day before Fall Brawl. We're at the in Gainesville, Georgia, at the Georgia Mountains Center. Straight up, we start with Gene interviewing Macho Man. He talks about Sting defecting, also talks about the Giant and his upcoming match with him at Fall Brawl. Starting with Kev.
Yeah, it's another solid Macho Man promo. My favorite line he goes, when Gene thanked him for the interview, he says, "You don't have to thank me, brother. I'm doing it because I want to." I love that. That was awesome.
Every time. he says one thing every time that's memorable, right?
He's so quick-witted to say to respond to someone's little comment. It's brilliant.
He's on fire. Blade, anything?
I mean, March has just been on a tear, right? Like, I think the promos that he's been delivering are super strong. Like, I do remember questioning why he was not involved with Team WCW going into War Games, but like, in all honesty, I think this has maybe allowed him the opportunity to sort of shine a bit on his own, which is awesome. So yeah, it's been great, and this just adds to that.
Yep, very nice. And then after this, we get the Nasty Boys making an entrance to the ring. Then it cuts off really randomly, isn't that strange, Blade? Well, what were you thinking at that moment when, oh, the Nasty Boys coming out? Oh, here we go. And then it just cuts to something else. Did you know that you had been had at that point?
Oh yeah, 100%. I was like, this is immediately Carl targeting me specifically. And yeah, I was just like, I know I said this before when we were talking about it, but it's starting to come back around on me. You know, I hear that song now, and it actually makes me smile. So, you know, if the Nasty Boys have wormed their way into my heart with their terrible wrestling and excellent theme song, then so be it.
We're the Nasty Boys. We got a bad reputation. Oh boy. And I told Kev ahead of time that I was gonna mess with you with the footage that I was sending you to analyze.
You sons of bitches.
Again, Gene in the interview spot there with Flair, Lex, and Arn. Kev, throwing to you, anything here?
Luger is pissed at Sting, but I just can't help but think, why can't you just call him? Just call him up. You know, that's the only thing I can say. Is this the same when Arn gives the promo as well?
Yeah.
Same. Yeah. I thought Arn, another strong promo from him. I think him and March are just hitting it out of the ballpark at the moment. He mentions not bringing his kids to this show in particular. He had to sit down with his kids to tell them that he may not come home from this match at Fall Brawl. It's just good stuff.
That's very dramatic, isn't it? Blade. Yeah.
I think the two things that really stood out to me are 2 points that we've made before, but it's just funny. Ever since you mentioned about Lex and his penchant for like bouncing his pecs and squeezing his hands together during promos, I felt like he was in overdrive on this one. He was so anxious about this shit that he was bouncing those pecs and wringing those arms the whole time. And then again, it just, every once in a while, I catch myself laughing at the absurdity of like, why do these men have to yell at each other when they're like right next to it? Like, it's so loud. And it's just like, in what other realm does this make sense at all? But yeah, I just, you know, when you get someone like Flair going, it's like setting a bottle rocket off in an enclosed room, you know?
It's so funny.
I missed a couple of points. Did Flair swear here and it was bleeped out?
I don't recall, but
yeah, something happened. I was like, oh, what happened there? Also, another point I was going to make is I like how Gene is now sort of toned down his sort of comedic stuff to sort of suit the seriousness of this match. So I kind of like what he's done there with Gene. He's taken a back seat with his regular sort of shtick where he kind of, you know, winds people up. So he's a bit more serious as well in this.
Yeah, I also liked that Flair opened this with he's wearing sunglasses indoors. So it was very serious about the situation. So now we get a Booty Man sit down interview. First time we've heard from the Booty Man since Hog Wild Brother on August the 10th. He goes on about his dying mother, and Hulkster was there for him. And his dad passed away. His wife left him. He got hit in the face during that freak parasailing accident. The tragic life here of the poor Booty Man. Blade, what did you take from this?
Yeah, it's funny because so during the holidays, which was only, you know, a couple of months ago, like I watched, you know, the latest season of Dark Side of the Ring, and so quite a lot of this stuff was in it, but like you can tell it's obviously had a pretty like profound emotional effect on Ed. And it's really sad because, like, you know, knowing the sort of history, I guess, is that like him and Hulk aren't friends anymore, and there's that divide, and like clearly at once upon a time they were very, very close. And so yeah, I don't know, it was very, very vulnerable and very like a very emotional watch. But, I mean, a lot of those things are so horrible. Like, it's just honestly awful.
To be honest, I think he did a bloody good job here. Usually everything he's done is kind of hokey. It's easy to make fun of, but I thought this was very good. Kev, anything?
I'm sorry. I can't feel sorry for him. He's coming down every single week with Kimberly Page for how many months? Life can't be that bad, right? But in all seriousness, yeah, this was really good. I thought he was that more serious once again, kind of like bringing up reality. I had no idea that amount of things happened to him during that same period of time where he had that accident stuff. I think the main purpose of this was to really make Hogan out to be the biggest piece of shit. You know, I think that's what they were trying to hammer home here. Because I don't think after this, Booty Man or Ed has a hell of a lot more to do.
I don't recall him doing.
No, but you could definitely
that.
You could have done something more here with this, especially with this kind of this serious sit down sort of serious sort of promo. It should have been on Nitro, to be honest with you. You know.
Yeah, that's a good point.
But yeah, I think that it achieved what it needed to do, which was to make out Hogan to be an absolute scumbag. Because we've had Hacksaw talk about him, a lot of other people, but I think this one in particular really hit home what a just a piece of crap he could be. You know, he could be your friend 1 minute and just ditch you the next. Doesn't matter if you know in your lowest point, this guy will, you know, you're gone. Which is so really good stuff.
It's fantastic. I love wrestling. We get to Lex Luger taking on Big Ron Studd. I feel bad for Big Ron. He's come in. He's lost matches to I think Benoit and then Savage. Now Luger. You know, they should have at least given him a couple of wins, so you know beating him meant something. But anyway, this match isn't really about that. This is about what happened during the match, and I really like this because it was nice to see them making an effort on WCW Saturday Night at this point. The NWO are seen at the building. I laughed because of all the people that were scurrying away because the danger was now in the area. A photographer tells them which car is Lex Luger's. What an asshole. And then they proceed to smash up Luger's car. Hogan isn't there, but it's the rest of the boys. Obviously, they get back to the match. Luger torture racks Big Ron Studd and has no idea what's transpired as he flexes for the camera. Blade, what did you think of this?
So good. And my favorite part has to be the fact that Nash identifies it being Luger's car because of the protein shakes in the passenger side. Such a good riff. I fucking loved it. It had me laughing out loud.
Kev, what did you like about this?
Yeah, this is really good stuff. Could have been on Nitro, probably. I actually had a quick listen to Tony Schiavone's podcast on the way back from my my band rehearsal tonight, just to get a little bit more insight about this pay-per-view, because I couldn't find anything from the Eric Bischoff one. But Tony Schiavone mentioned this was I think it was maybe a mistake putting this on Saturday night. But to your point, Carl, it was kind of cool to see them do some stuff on this show, so it's not just a throwaway, 2 hours or whatever it was of time. So I did enjoy this. I thought it was really good.
Yeah, no, I have to disagree with Tony there. I think it gives people a reason to tune in to Saturday night and not just have all the good stuff on Nitro. Because when I uncovered this footage to put in the video file for you guys to check out, I didn't remember this at all. And I've seen the angle through once before. Don't remember this, but I thought it was really cool. And they smash up his car, and I got a bit worried when the giant stood on top of the car.
He nearly slipped.
I know. I was like, dude, don't. This is one take. You can't do it again. But yeah, I thought it was really cool. And after this, I thought this was funny. I guess after the break, Luger's found out that something's happened to his car. And he runs out to see what's happened. And what does he do? he kicks the car and adds more damage to it. And he screams, "Where's security?" And oh god. Do you guys have anything else to add there?
No, good.
No, all good. Anyway, there's actually some inside scoop from Dave Meltzer about this segment later on when we get to what Dave Meltzer had to say. So you guys could be excited for that. We get a WCW special report from Mean Gene. They just cover pretty much everything that's taken place since the hostile takeover and Hall showing up. And yeah, showing how things have just continued to get worse for WCW. Let's just keep moving forward there. I don't think there's really much to say in regards to a recap, but the Nasty Boys again got a bad reputation. They make their entrance at WCW Worldwide and it cuts away just to annoy Blade. And then we get to WCW Pro, the final stop before we get to Fall Brawl here. I make Blade and Kev watch this whole opening of the show. Larry and Dusty and Chris Cruz are talking, and then they finally cut to the ring, and the Nasty Boys make their entrance once again for the fourth time that week. And all I wrote was "suck shit, Blade." But again, I love that it's made everything turn around, and now it's popping you. That's good stuff. All right, okay, let's get to WCW Fall Brawl, nWBro's 1996, September 15th, 1996, from the Lawrence Joel Veterans Memorial Coliseum in Winston-Salem. 11,300 fans. Fun fact.
There we go.
Yeah.
My last dog's name was Winston. But the Lawrence Joel Veterans Memorial Coliseum, it was named after Lawrence Joel, an army medic from Winston-Salem, who was awarded the Medal of Honor in 1967 for action in Vietnam. He was the first medic to earn the Medal of Honor during the Vietnam War and the first living Black American to receive this medal since the Spanish-American War of 1898. He also earned a Silver Star and Purple Heart and was a part of something called Operation Hump. And during Operation Hump, during the fighting, he, the medic, distinguished himself for these awards because he tended to the wounded comrades of his whilst they were under heavy fire. Fucking the balls on this guy. You deserve to have something named after you, even though war is fucking horrible. But there we go. Fun fact, guys. And maybe not really that fun.
I was trying so hard not to laugh at Operation Hump. I was like, man, that dude. I give a small smile. I look down and see Kev's also smiling as well.
I tried to really skim past it. And by the way, guys, I wanted to see if I could find the most boring fact I could about Fall Brawl 1996, and I found it. This show received an official VHS release in the USA, and the catalog number for it is T7078.
Wow.
Oh.
Wow. Let's get to the buy rates of this pay-per-view, guys. So again, recapping. Great American Bash, 170,000. Bash at the Beach, 250,000. Hog Wild Brother on August the 10th, 220,000. Fall Brawl 1996, 230,000 buys. Killing it. Fucking killing it. We open the show with the same music from Bash at the Beach, that ripoff of Crazy by Seal. Dusty with some very poignant points to start the show. He's convinced about Sting. And I love that the commentators are in suits for the pay-per-view. Very classy. Kev, do you have anything here for the beginning of the show?
It was like that. There was like, so you think it's Seal. That's like a ripoff of Seal. Yeah, I put once again. I thought it was like talk show music again. It was to me. It didn't really capture the vibe of the pay per view. You know, it's they're going to war, and then we're getting this really kind of cruisy music. I don't know. It was really strange for me. I didn't think it suited it at all.
Blade, anything here?
I think I just did a really great job of recapping the whole thing. I also
Yeah.
I did have to laugh because they're all in suits, and you've got Tony's there in a tux, with this like red cummerbund, and then he turns around, you see his side profile, and he's got this filthy mullet. Just like such a contrast, but it's great.
Absolutely filthy. All right, well, the first matchup of Fall Brawl 1996. Diamond Dallas Page, Chavo Guerrero Jr., referee Mark Curtis in charge of proceedings for a match that goes 13 minutes and 7 seconds. Quick fact, Chavo's first WCW pay-per-view match. Blade, what were your thoughts of the opening matchup here?
I thought it was really solid. Like, it wasn't a flashy match by any stretch of the imagination, but like, and I think this is a through line for this entire pay-per-view. Every match like felt like it had room to breathe. Like nothing was rushed. There was no like short, 2 or 3 minute matches. Like everything sort of got its moment. And I think this set like a really good bar for that. The Diamond Cutter is still over as hell. Like the fans popped when DDP hit that thing. The Brain made me laugh on commentary because they're talking about like Dusty's talking about how Chavo just won't quit. The Guerreros don't give up, and then Brain's like, no, they're a family of quitters. He's like, I heard his dad got fired like 11 times from his job, and I'm like, I just love Brain being a contrarian because he can. Like, it's such an annoying dickhead, and it's great. This was a really solid way to open up the proceedings, I thought.
Yeah, very nice. Kev.
When it started, for some reason, I thought it was going to be Eddie and DDP, and I got more pumped for that. When I realized it was Chavo, I was like, okay. I found the size difference between the two. It's a little too much for me. I thought that DDP just the size of him compared to him, I think he should have flogged him a lot easier than what he did. The favorite like peak of the match was that gut wrench spinning power bomb that DDP did. It was kind of rough. Yeah. It was kind of a rough landing. That was really cool. It was decent showing from both guys. But yeah, as Blade said, that Diamond Cutter is really over now. And but yeah, to me, I just thought the size of DDP, I don't know, I felt a little bit unrealistic at times with how much offense Chavo got. I think DDP should have probably ended him a lot sooner than he did. But yeah, no, it was a good, decent match.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, I think they're really trying to give Chavo a shot here. I do agree that maybe DDP could have got the win quicker, but Chavo's in a bit of an unfortunate position here because he's trying to get himself over, but at the same time, DDP is becoming popular, and maybe they weren't really thinking that was going to happen at this stage. Because even when he hit that big clothesline off the top rope, like you could tell the crowd they're into DDP. They like his shit. The only real notes I had here was, who puffs on a cigar before they're about to like do some strenuous activity. Bobby really made me laugh when he was talking about what's happening in the main event and that he wants WCW to fight for him because clearly all Bobby cares about is himself and his job. I also like that they used the second ring and DDP putting the diamond taunts together. It used to annoy me. They would always do this. So look, Diamond Cutter, and it's over. Again, there's a special report with Gene, and here's a fact that's going to make us all very sad. This is Mean Gene's last WCW appearance until November 1996 due to his contract expiring, and he took some time off, so we won't see Gene for a little while.
Because I was wondering, I was like, where the fuck happened to him in this pay-per-view? I was wondering that,
yeah. As soon as he saw Mike Tenay backstage, I'm like, hey, wait on, what's going on here? Has Gene got the flu?
Where is Gene?
You know
Get me
what?
Gene.
We've been talking about how hard they've been working him. He's in almost every bloody segment. He needs some time off. I just wonder what's happening with the hotline. That's all. Next matchup, guys. Submission match. Ice Train taking on Scott Norton, which I believe is the kind of feud ender here. Referee Mark Curtis again. 7 minutes, 18 seconds. Kev.
Go to Blade because I've got to go right down to the bottom because we kind of missed this match. And so I have to go back to my notes. So I'm still looking for them.
Oh,
So,
good
yeah.
Blade.
Yeah, I mean, so to me, this is like the match that defines two big hosses going at it, right? Everything that they did was just like so impactful. Slams, clotheslines, like I probably like to me, this was the best thing that they did in the entire feud from what I've seen, like of what we've reviewed so far. It was a solid match. I think as I was sort of watching, the one thing that really like popped into my mind was I feel like Ice Train was maybe a really good prototype of like what Big E became in WWE, right? He's a jack guy. He's pretty agile for his size. Physically just like, you know, huge, strong, like he's quite powerful. I was like, you know, it would have been really cool, I think, you know, in a different world to see him actually have been given a solid run and being allowed room to breathe and grow, because I think there was a ton of potential there seemingly. Like he does this leapfrog in the match over Norton. And I was just like, how does a dude that size like get up over? Like that's insane.
Yeah, to get up over Norton. What the fuck?
Yeah. So yeah, best thing I think I've seen them do together. I was really surprised that the fans seemed audibly split about Ice Train winning. Like there was, like I could almost hear more audible booing than I could cheering, which is weird because I feel like Norton has very much up until this point sort of been set up as the heel. So yeah, surprising to see the crowd sort of, I guess, a bit divided on that.
Fair enough. Maybe they just don't like people who enjoy CompuServe too much. Kev, what did you think about this?
Yeah, I agree with Blade. This was a lot better than their last contest they had. I thought it was a quite peculiar entrance from Ice Train because he was behind Teddy Long, so we couldn't really see him properly. It was almost like Ice Train was blind and he was just holding on to Teddy Long to get to the ring. Do you notice that?
No, I didn't actually.
No, he was like, it was strange because it's only, you know, usually someone's coming down the aisle, you see them, you know, they got the down the bottom tells you who they are, but he was like right behind Teddy Long, was holding him, and I found it really strange.
That is strange.
So basically, Teddy Long pretty much cost Scott Norton the match. He sort of came in the ring. He pulled him in the ring, and then that's what led up to the full Nelson to win the match. But yeah, I agree with Blade with Ice Train. I think if he just got a storyline or something in his career, he could have done a hell of a lot more. Yeah, because the dude's huge. You know. Yeah, he's a very impressive looking individual. So yeah, Ice Train. I don't know. He didn't really go far after this. I don't know why. I don't understand.
Right, he was so confused about it. He ended up wrestling. Like, I don't know how much longer he's on WCW television for after this. I'm sure he's there for a bit, but he ended up wrestling in Germany till like the year 2000 whilst being under WCW contract. And he just never understood why they didn't bring him back or what was going on. And yeah, it's just strange. Blade, did you have anything else to add?
I was just going to joke that I guess you could say the train never truly left the station.
It's so annoying.
No,
yeah. Look, I've got some notes here, and look, I thought this was the best thing that they've done for the feud, but I've got some extra thoughts that might seem like I didn't like, but you'll get it. Ice Train has promise. He just needs to be protected creatively and by the agents in his matches. He's been made to look stupid a few times in the last couple of months, especially at Hog Wild. Like, I'm never going to get over how dumb that was that he came out to give the Giant a pep talk, and then 45 seconds later, he now has a shoulder injury that lasts like 4 weeks. Like a good one, good one, bro. You fucked yourself there. Everyone likes to see the big dude smash on, but I found the submission stuff, it took away from what they needed to do in this match every time they had to lock in a fucking submission hold. That's just me. I think it didn't help these two. I think we just needed an all-out fucking brawl.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. This was the second one
Submission
that was
match.
Yeah, come on. We didn't need that.
No, and anyway. It was Ice Train locks in the full Nelson wins, but I just kind of felt like the feud was a little bit of a waste of time, and I felt like it didn't really do anything for Scott or Train here. Anyway, let's get to the next match. Juventud Guerrera, first pay-per-view match in WCW. The juice is loose. He's taking on Conan Vato. 13 minutes 45 seconds. Referee Nick Patrick in charge of proceedings. Kev, big Hoovy fan.
Yeah, I mean, I like both wrestlers here. Found this match. I think the match was too long. They kind of looked at times of gassed a little bit. It looked a bit messy. On commentary, it said, "Oh, we can have a new champion." So Conan's got the US heavyweight title. Is that right?
No. He's got the Mexican.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Because when he said that, I was like, "What? Whoa. Yeah, I found the match a little sloppy at times. This one. Yeah, the crowd didn't really seem into it either. It was a bit of a. I've definitely seen better from both these guys. But I didn't really dig this encounter too much.
Yeah. Blade, what did you think? I'm just looking at my notes, and I really didn't like the match. But Blade, what did you think?
I'm gonna flip things and say I actually did enjoy this match.
Oh wow.
Yeah. No, like
why?
Okay, so hear me out, because this is a bit of a journey. So Hoovy comes out, he trips over the steps. I'm like, here we go.
Okay.
Here we go.
Fucking ate shit, dude.
Yeah. So awkward. I was like, especially after the Joe Gomez shit, I was like, here we go. This is gonna be fucked. I'm like getting ready to blast this shit. I'm like, okay. I thought Conan started off really well. Huge German, awesome press throw. Like, it just makes him look strong. Hoovy goes for like this insane springboard using the first and then going into the second ring. But I was like, is he going to eat shit on this? Because it definitely, like in any other world, would occur. He hits it amazingly. Yeah. They utilize both rings really well, I thought, as well. I laughed because you hear Conan call an audible on camera and then it cuts away very quickly. Good cover by the cameraman there. There was a weird bit in the middle where like Conan and Jimmy are talking to each other and Hoovy's just on the outside and like nothing is happening. That part I was like, what is going on? Like, Hoovy's not really recovering. He's kind of just like standing on the outside, and then Jimmy and Conan are like in the other corner just having a chat. Like, I'm not sure what happened.
Maybe that's the bit where I thought they felt like they were gassed for me. I was like, they seemed like they were like, I don't know. Yeah.
Give him a 15-second breather. Brutal counter out of the wheelbarrow where like Conan just gives him like this German. Hoovy hits this weird ass twirling move where he like twirls off the top rope and sort of just slams into Conan, but it's not actually a wrestling move. Conan nails this massive Alabama slam, and then what could be the very first muscle buster in history, which I was like, that's kind of cool. And then he hits the power. Like, okay, it was no technical masterpiece, right? But this is not what I expect from like a Juice and Conan match. That's not what you're gonna get out of these two. I like the match because it exceeded my expectations. You have to think, I went from tripping over the stairs to what was actually delivered. And in that sense, it was much better than it probably could have been. So, like, whilst I'm not going to be like, well, actually, it was an 8 out of 10. Like, it was a passable match. So yeah, those are my thoughts. Passable match, better than it probably should and could have been. Yeah, I feel weird being the outlier now. Carl will refute my comments.
Well, okay. I look. I had to rewind several times when Hoovy tripped over the stairs because, like, was he walking backwards and he fell like?
Yeah. He's like
Right.
mugging the camera on the other side and then doesn't see the stairs. Eat shit.
I was crying. Look, I thought that the beginning of the match was pretty good, right? But there was a point in time where it just fell off the cliff for me. I don't know if I don't have it written down specifically where, but I just noticed that in the middle of my notes, I wrote, it doesn't help that Conan is fucking shit. I'll be honest with you. Like, I have a real love-hate relationship with Conan. I like his personality. I like him on the mic and all that stuff. Sometimes he'll surprise you and have a really good match. But man, after watching like 5-6 years worth of WCW, two people always, when they would come out for their match, I'd be like, oh, and it was Conan and Virgil. Okay. And there is one day in the future where they wrestle each other on WCW Saturday night, and we're gonna have to cover it.
Oh shit.
That'll be so far in the future. But Conan does a drop kick off the apron like a backyard wrestler.
That's a great comment. I love it.
The wheelbarrow suplex was cool, but Conan was trying to pin him in the ropes. It was a mess. The somersault leg drop, rope break, just messy. Conan kicking out of the 450 splash. I don't agree with that. Then he hit a spinning. I think I don't know if Hoovy hit a spinning splash.
That bit in the match was just really strange for me. It just felt like something was off.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, he did 450 and then he did that, and it was like the crowd wasn't understanding it either.
I blame Conan for this. I don't know why. I just have a feeling Conan was gassed because he couldn't keep up with Hoovy's pace. I don't know. I'm just guessing. All right? I'm just guessing.
How dare you besmirch the good name of Conan?
I hated this match.
I'm a big Keeping It 100 fan. I love the show. I love Conan. That's all I'm going to say.
I love Conan too. It's just he sucks in the ring. I'm sorry. And I can say that because I used to wrestle, okay, you fat nerds.
That's how we knew what a backyard wrestler's dropkick looked like as well.
Oh boy, let's get to the next match, guys. It is the Dave Meltzer special here.
Context. David Allen Meltzer is a pro wrestling journalist. Since 1983, Meltzer has been the publisher and editor of the Wrestling Observer newsletter, a dirt sheet primarily addressing professional wrestling. Dave uses his newsletter to peddle constant bullshit and his agenda. Dave's favorite wrestling involves small men pretending to fight, and it's, in fact, the shittest version of wrestling, you dick smack. Dave gives high ratings to the stupidest shit, probably because he's a stupid shit.
Chris Jericho versus Chris Benoit, 1436. Referee Randy Anderson in charge of proceedings here. I can't remember who I started with last time, so I'll start with Blade.
I mean, you know, I'm going to come out and say, like, this was, to me, probably the best match on the pay-per-view. It's very clear that these guys have wrestled each other prior, and they do cover on commentary that they've met in Japan and Canada prior to this. Just super clean, super crisp with everything that they do. Like, I get the fans hate the gimmick that Jericho has like this early on, and it wears very thin very quickly. But like, you have to look at him at that stage. And I guess it's harder for me because, you know, I'm going retrospective, but like at this point you have to think like this guy's going to be a star like in the future. And Benoit's already sort of on the ascent, right? Like he's part of the Horsemen, he has a profile. But like even looking at Chris like at this early stage in his WCW tenure, like he's just there's that X factor, I think. Like he's a good wrestler, he has a good look. Like it's not surprising that he ended up turning out to be who he is, in my opinion. So yeah, I mean, how can we complain? A match between two of the, you know, quite possibly biggest or in the pantheon of the biggest marquee names in pro wrestling history. Like it was, yeah, good, very good.
Pantheon. It sounds like a Pokemon.
It's more a group or a collection. You know, the pantheon of the Greek gods is like the collective of the Greek gods.
Okay, very nice. Thank you. We're learning a lot here on the nWBro's podcast. Kev, what did you think of Jericho and Benoit?
Yeah, man, these two guys beat the fucking piss out of each other. I thought this match, this chopped the shit out of each other. It was, yeah, this is a technical wrestling match of the night for sure. Benoit put Jericho in that backbreaker, Walls of Jericho. So I'm not even sure if Jericho was using that move at this point. But it was kind of like, yeah. So I found that interesting that Benoit was doing later to be Jericho's signature submission move in this match. I definitely noticed the commentators really putting Jericho over here. Like even though he lost, or like he's a star after this match, and they're really trying to push Jericho here. But yeah, real clean as Blade said, clean match, just technically sound. Bladed in, hard-hitting match. Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Very good. Yeah, I think maybe Jericho thought to himself, that's a cool submission. Chris, you use the crossface. Do you reckon I could take that other submission you used and maybe that happened? Who knows? I just felt like the crowd weren't really into Jericho. I thought they were booing him at one stage, and I actually thought the match went too long. But it was good. To be expected. I don't really have anything else to add.
I was like, I dare you to say something bad about this, you fuck. Go on.
Well, I thought the crowd were like meh when there was a Frankenstein off the top rope. I'm like, why the fuck did you not? You didn't like that? What the fuck's wrong with you?
Yeah.
Anyway, let's move forward. Super Calo taking on Rey Mysterio Jr. in a match that goes 15 minutes, 47 seconds. That's surprising. Referee Randy Anderson in charge of the proceedings. Kev, what did you think of this matchup here?
Not bad, but I think the last couple of pay-per-views we've seen Rey Mysterio sort of open the show. Here he is a little bit later in the card. I don't think this one exceeded the previous matches he had. It was okay. Hayden was really good in this. At the beginning of the match, he says, super califragilisticexpialidocious. So funny.
For fuck's sake.
Rey Mysterio's music, it just doesn't suit him at all. It's strange. I don't know. It just doesn't suit him.
God, I can't think of it. I know the theme that you mean. It's yeah.
It's like bah, bah. It sounds like a Final Fantasy like boss music.
Yeah, very serious stuff. I don't know if he's heard this, but the match just starts. Nothing's really happened. Some guy chats out, boring.
Really?
Yeah. I thought you can't
give him a chance to start the match.
I haven't dropped a C-bomb yet. That's my first one. But I thought, what a fucking wanker. I said, like, if he could see into the future what wrestling becomes, you would appreciate this, you fucking idiot. Just sit down. The crowd didn't really seem into this match either, compared to all the other matches Rey Mysterio's had, where even when there was brand new, he kind of won them over. The crowd was like, holy shit, we've seen something we've never seen before. With this match, I don't know, it didn't sort of didn't seem to have that same quality.
Maybe the crowd are a little tired after that Jericho Benoit match. I hate when people use that excuse, like, "Oh, the last match was like," but it's true, like they might have needed like a little bit of I don't know, something different in this spot, because it's kind of three of the same kind of matches.
Yeah, I felt the crowd just didn't care about Callo. I think it's maybe the problem here. We they've grown to love Rey Mysterio and his matches and what to expect from him, whereas Super Callo really had, I think he had a package.
He's had one TV match.
One match, a package, and then it was this match. So I don't think the crowd could really there's nothing there to really get behind it. I don't think they bought that he had a chance of winning this match at all.
No, one TV match, and he gets a title shot.
Yeah. I mean, the crowd popped for I think the finish with Mysterio jumping over from the other ring
double
to
springboard,
and the thing that they liked that, but I don't think they really were into this match.
Right. Cool. Blade, have I gone to you for this match yet?
No.
What's wrong with me? Why? How do I? Blade, please. Your thoughts?
No, well, Kev had a lot to say, so
Okay.
we let him cook. Look, it's a strange thing. I think yes, the positioning of the match should have been different. I would have shoved the tag team title match in between here because it would have just like broken up those styles a bit more. Because, like, again, I thought this match was very technically sound. Like, again, very little mistakes, very clean, very crisp with the execution. Kev's 100% on the money. Like, what do we actually know about Callo? And how do we buy seriously the presentation of a luchador who wears a fucking little leather boy cap and some sunglasses over a mask?
This is what I want last week. This is what I wanted to hear last week.
Like, don't you dare make fun of Super Callo's mask. I love that mask.
It's so like, yeah, cool, mum. I want Super Callo's mask so I can look like an absolute dickweed.
I would not have anyone besmirch the good name of Super Callo on this show.
Fuck you that Jericho and Benoit went too long. But
it's
like
got inbuilt sunglasses. Great mask.
This is the reaction I wanted last week from you, Blade. When I asked him, "What do you think about Super Callo's mask?" and you were like, "Oh, he's all right." This is your reaction now is exactly what I wanted last week.
Yeah, no, okay, I've been weaponized now, and I've insulted Carl in the process. So
Unbelievable.
I'm happy. Yeah, like this was way more competitive than I thought it would have been, given that Callo's only been here for a short time, and the fact that he controlled. Like, I know Ray is a wrestler that is used to working from underneath. Like, that's his whole shtick. He's an underdog. But, like, for a guy that's been here for, like, 3 weeks, like, it just, I don't know. There's that sort of, that disconnect a little bit there. Absolutely huge reaction for the double springboard Frankensteiner at the end. Ray also calls out Malenko to continue that thread for them. Like, look, I liked the match, but like the crowd was dead. And yeah, you've sort of seen 3 like pretty similar-ish matches with like similar presentation or elements of like one another all in a row. Like, it really, yeah, I would have shoved the tag title match in there. And that's probably, or maybe even switch the order with like Ice Train and Norton, if they wanted to do that. But
okay, that's a good idea. Yeah.
But yeah, it's unfortunate because I think, if we were to isolate it, like this was another like solid match, but it just, I don't know, its placement on the card and a couple of other things perhaps did it a bit of a disservice.
All right, fair enough. Despite Blade's very disrespectful comments towards Super Callo, I wanted to say that I think he's underrated in an unsung kind of performer from the cruiserweight division at this time, because you always hear Ray, Kidman, Malenko, Psychosis, Hoovy. Super Callo's name always kind of gets dropped from all of that because I don't think he wrestled too far into 98 or anything like that. But
yeah, he's great. It's just his mask is shit.
That's just, it's not true. Why get so emotional over some guy I've never met? And Mike Snee did a very good job in this match. Okay, let's move forward. The Nasty Boys They got a bad reputation. Singing two different parts of the song at
We're the
once.
boys.
We're the boys. We're the
Nasty
nasty
boys.
Fuck yeah. Taking on Harlem Heat. And their theme song is so sick, man.
Yeah.
Timeless.
Timeless.
15 minutes, 31 seconds. Again, referee Mark Curtis. And I'm like, did Randy Ella lose his job? Referee Randy Ella, you know, he fucked up big time at Hog Wild. Maybe he lost his
August
job
10th.
here. On August
Brother.
10th, brother. Anyway, straight up, throwing it to you, Blade. What do you think of the tag title match here?
Yeah, like, and this is going to surprise you. I thought it was good. Like, again, for what these guys do, very clean, very crisp. No, like, errors or sloppiness. I did think they maybe got a bit gassed towards the end. But, like, the Nasty Boys are super over with the crowd, and that's, you know, that's been a fact long before I was hating on them. You know, it's hard hitting, it's different. You know, this is a break from the 3 matches that we've seen previously. God damn, Sherry snapping Colonel Parker's cane over the back of Nobbs's head. She hits him with the handle and it breaks off, and I was like, that's gotta hurt. Like, that would have sucked. Like, look, again, I thought it was a really, really solid match. My one complaint would probably be that maybe there was a bit too much, like, manager shenanigans and outside stuff going on. But even then, like, that still provided a different point than we've seen in other matches. So
yeah, that's true.
I was okay with it. Yeah, I was pleasantly surprised.
Excellent. Kev, what did you think of the tag title match?
Yeah, I enjoyed this too. The crowd was really into it as well. I'm a big Sherry Mark, so she always puts a smile on my face just as her voice screaming, and but she kind of played that sort of role that woman does, where she affected the outcome of this match, just wreaking havoc on Nasty Boys. I think it was Brian Knobbs he just wanted to lay his hands on her, could never really get her too much in this match. Those tag belts, I just noticed in this match, the tag team title belt at this point, they sort of become bigger later on, like they're and the more shiny with the world on it. Yeah, they're kind of like they evolve from this. I never realized that back then, but now I know now that those titles changed because they're a bit smaller back here.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot going on here. You know, like some of the times on the outside, you know, Sags is just getting like punished by Sherry, and Colonel Parker's doing his bit on it outside. The referee looks like an idiot. Like, look, he just doesn't know what's going on. Yeah, it's that kind of stuff in wrestling, that kind of hokey stuff. Sometimes I find it really fun, and it makes me I enjoy it. You know, so but yeah, it was a good match, and it's kind of funny as well because the Nasty Boys are they're not really like true baby faces at all. They've kind of been this middle ground lately, you know, being associated there maybe with the NWO, and so this match you kind of had, you know, like Harlem Heat with it as the heels, but yeah, there's still the crowd. They like the Nasty Boys, eh?
Yeah, they're over. They're the boys. Yeah, it's when you mentioned the tag title belts. Do you remember like a time period like within the next year, like those belts, like they're fucking falling apart, like the side plates barely attached, and like they needed.
I can't remember this.
You don't remember that? I remember these tag titles just for the longest time. You would think, geez, someone replaced them already. You can afford it. One thing I really like that Dusty does, and he does this in almost every Nasty Boys match, when they tag one another in, and it's the two of them, and there's an opponent in their corner, and they both start beating on him like this, and Dusty starts screaming, "They're clubbering! They're clubbering! Yeah, they clubbering!" Every time. I miss when managers meant something, right? I laughed at one point. Somehow Sherry was in the ring. Like, how is she not being ejected after all of this? But it's just funny how just much was getting involved. Bobby made me laugh when he said, imagine Jerry Sags and his family moved in next door to you. Who are those people? The Sagses. What a strange point to make, but it really made me laugh. Knobs needed that hot tag. There was, it broke down. The teams are over. And yes, a nice, fun finish that Dave Meltzer would hate. And I would love to see the Nasty Boys against the Young Bucks. Let's move forward. Mike Tenay with, ooh, yeah, Macho Man, Randy Savage. It was confirmation here to me that Gene is gone for the time period. Heartbreaking. Kev, anything here?
Yeah, same as you. That's the point. This is the point where I was like, okay, where the fuck is Gene? What is going on here? Why is he not interviewing anymore? So yeah, same. Just another solid promo from Savage. He's, what can I say? I don't think I've ever heard Savage not give a great promo. He can pull one out of his ass at any point.
Yeah, Blade.
Yeah, very, 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 very similar. Very upset about Mean Gene not being here, but
devastating.
We carry on. We persevere.
Yep.
Macho Man, he's fired up and he's at his best here, I think. And he's this is the thing I love about Macho Man with his gear, is just like, it's so wild, like every single time. And this one, he's got like the gold glitter, and he's got that gold glitter on like the WCW branding on his shirt. I'm just like, that's only something Macho Man can pull off. Nobody else.
Yeah, definitely. I just always think, like, what kind of human being is that? He's so captivating. Let's move forward. And it's Savage's match up next. Macho Man, Randy Savage against the Giant. 7 minutes, 47 seconds. Referee Nick Patrick, of course. Is in charge of the proceedings. Blade, what did you think of Giant and Savage?
Awesome opening. I loved Savage just stopping Giant from getting in the ring, and obviously the crowd did too. They're popping as every time Giant gets up on the apron, Macho Man just clocks him and knocks him down. If he eventually gets in, this was a really classic, like, David versus Goliath type match, I thought. When Savage finally gets Giant up, huge pop as well, and slams him down. Very Hogan and Andre-esque.
Yeah.
And then, funnily enough, Hogan comes out. Nick Patrick performing the eye test on Giant. He's like, one thing or two. You just see him doing this. I'm like, I love every week that they're finding ways to sort of stretch like the reality of a lack of observation from the referee. It's so funny. The fans very unhappy about Giant winning. And they let everyone know. I probably thought this was probably like the most predictable outcome of all the matches on the pay-per-view, with Giant defecting to NWO so recently. There was not really a perceivable way, I think, for Macho Man to win. Like, that would halt, Giant's progress and momentum, joining the NWO as a new member. So kind of felt like a bit of a, preordained sort of thing. But still, yeah, for what it was, I think it did exactly what it needed to do. Macho Man still looked strong and like $1 million, and had the crowd with him. And this gives Giant a pretty big win over a very well established name.
Yep. Kev, what did you think?
Yeah, I slightly disagree with what Blade said.
No, trying to make it a big deal.
It's in a different way. He said it was predictable. Like, for me, already seen it before. I couldn't remember, like, how does this play out? Because I know Savage has got the title shot the next pay-per-view.
Yeah.
But also I know that Giant's just joined, so he can't really lose. So I was trying to figure out, like, how does this play out again? Because how do they make this work where it works for both? So I'm not disagreeing, but I mean, like, I was interested to see how it had played out. And I think it made Savage looked very strong because he had a match won.
Yeah.
And then so we see him getting sort of lured away from, because Hogan, and then sort of puts back in and gets beat. But yeah, I think that's the slam from Savage on the Giant. Man, that was very impressive. Do you know Giant still had his old entrance here?
Oh yeah, no, it
I was like, what
started
the
as
hell?
the dungeon theme, and then it turned into the NWA.
Yeah,
thing.
and I was like,
Yeah.
"Whoa, what's going on here?" Like, that was interesting. But yeah, I definitely was interested to see what happened in this match. I was looking forward to it. So yeah.
Question, guys. Do you think the Giant should have changed his ring gear after joining the NWO? Do you think he should have kept this Andre the Giant one kind of?
Nah, he should have changed it up.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I don't know.
Or at least have an NWO logo on it or something,
Good idea. Yeah. I don't know what else to really add here other than at one stage Giant like spread Savage's legs and then just like did a headbutt to his groin. And I'm like, that would have, if that were real, a 500-pound guy fucking dropping his skull on your dick. Like, oh man, it'd be crushed. So what else can I say here? I actually went into this thinking that Savage was going to win because I just thought he's getting the title shot. He's going to hit the big elbow and beat Giant somehow. And maybe Giant slips on a banana peel, but I like that he got laid out with a chair by Nash. Just, it's all good stuff, really. That they, again, still building heat here. And, but I'm sure it was a last minute desperate decision. Okay, Flair and the Horsemen have an interview before we get to the War Games main event. Blade, sorry, no, Kev this time. Fuck, I keep forgetting. Kev.
So this is the bit where Sting comes into the scene, right?
Yeah.
So here is Sting saying it wasn't him. I just feel there's a bit of a plot hole here with Sting. Like, has he not talked to Luger this whole time? No one's called him. Nothing.
Who was he with during that?
Where was
time?
he?
Yeah, where was
what's
he?
going on here? So for me, I feel like there's a little bit of a plot hole. I think Luger's acting here when Sting comes into the scene. If that is the first time he's seen him after this friend of yours has betrayed you for how many years you've been friends for, and he's betrayed you. His acting did not match what that should have been. I think he's acting just shit, to be honest with you. And I like Luger. Yeah. I like Luger, but he needed to be like getting held back here. I'm ready to fucking snap him. I'm ready to rip him apart. But he was just like, you make this short and sweet. Like, come on. Like, I just wanted more there. I felt like he should have been right in there trying to, but we didn't get that.
Well, like, what if someone that looked like me got out of a limousine and kicked you square in your nuts and then beat you down in the rain with a bunch of guys that you hate? And then I come up to you and say, Kev, it wasn't me. How would you react? Would you give me a walloping?
I go, no, it was you. What the fuck are you talking about? One of these ones. Bam.
Bam. Blade, what did you think?
Yeah, I completely agree. And I think this is something I said about Luger in a promo that he cut when we did our last episode, which is, he's not, you don't get that like viscerally emotional reaction from him. He's so like monotone, like one. He has one speed. And for moments like this, it's just, it under-delivers and sort of undercuts all the emotion that you sort of want out of that thing. So it's it's unfortunate. Even Flair, did you guys catch this?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay, good. Even Flair is surprised by the absence of Mean Gene and calls Tenay Gene as he's going through his shtick. And I'm like, yeah, damn right, Flair. Where is Gene? Like, of course, this should be Gene. Why is Mike Tenay here? It's Gene.
Mike Tenay just stands there and takes it.
No, sells the entire thing. I thought this was a really good way to sort of get that last little bit of hype, for the match. It underdelivered a little bit, but I would say that's more on Luger than anyone else that was in the promo.
Right. Well, okay. Kev's mentioned that it feels like there's a plot hole here, right? Like it doesn't make sense that it's been 6 days since Nitro, and Sting, we don't know where he was that night. Maybe he will explain in future. Maybe he didn't feel like he needed to explain anything because his best friend should have believed him anyway. I don't know. I can be like an AEW fan and just make up whatever to make it make sense, but I'm not going to do that. But I can speculate. It's okay, but I'm not going to say, no, it's because of this reason. Shut up. Yeah, again, I agree with both of you about Lucas acting. But what I laughed at most was after Sting left the scene, Lex just started touching himself again. It's like when Lex is anxious, it's like this is what he does to get through it. He's gonna start feeling himself again. Anyway, all right, it's time for the main event here of Fall Brawl 1996, the War Games, the new World Order, taking on Team WCW. 18 minutes, 15 seconds. I thought it was going to be longer than that, but I guess usually they have 5 guys a team. I don't know. Anyway, doesn't matter. Referee Nick Patrick somehow again. How is that allowed? The NWO announcement, they're going on about how much of a fan of Nick Patrick they are. He's been fucking around, and somehow he gets the job here. Unbelievable. Right. So God, I don't even know what I'm going to say here because I have so many notes that I've written. It's like a blow by blow of this match. But I'll save my bullshit till the end, and I'm going to start with you, Blade. What did you think of the main event here?
Yeah, it's sort of.
And I'm starting with you because, like, I know that you don't know ahead of time what was going to happen here.
Yeah. I'm gonna be honest. Like, there were some good parts. Overall, I feel like it maybe underdelivered a little bit. I didn't love. I really personally wish that they had unveiled a new member as the 4th person. I really didn't like that the fake Sting was the 4th member. And I guess it's because they're acting off the assumption that not everybody knows that it's a fake Sting. I suppose I was I wasn't aware. I kind of just managed to clock it at the beginning, but there was some really good stuff. Like the reactions for some of the guys, like Flair was really over, which of course he is. That this is where he did a lot of his early work. They kind of messed up the timing at the beginning. So like, was it Luger gets in the match about 10 seconds early, and they're kind of trying to cover on commentary, and it's like, it's whatever, he's early. Like, it's like, okay, cool, I guess we'll roll with that. Rick, I love when Rick came out and baiting Hogan, like just classic Rick doing his thing. Low blows everyone and struts about the place. I think the part that I probably loved the most, besides the ending of the match, was just that Sting's interaction of coming in, blowing through everyone, clotheslines, Stinger splashes like everywhere, and then he's just like, you know what, like, fuck you guys, I'm out.
Yeah.
You didn't trust me, you didn't believe that I was telling the truth, and he just like hightails it out of there. And I think that just like it really like adds an extra layer to that arc of where we've talked about in the episodes about like, you know, they've kept building this foundation of like anxiety and paranoia, and you know, we're seeing like little bits of it, but this is the first time I feel that it's really like WCW shot themselves in the foot. You know, this time it's actively cost them. So I thought that was very cool as well. Funnily enough, at the very end of the match, it's sort of just as we're going into the aftermath, which I guess will break up or whatever.
Yep.
I do have to give Lex his dues a little bit for the acting. He's crawling on his hands and knees, calling out for his friend. He's Stinger, like, and he's just calling out. That's what I would have loved to have seen from Lex earlier. Something like this. It was not perfect, but he's at least like, he's making the effort, right? Like he's
heartbreaking.
Yeah, you know. So yeah, my opinion, like ups and downs, and there was like some really great stuff, and there's some stuff that I didn't particularly enjoy. I think also having Nick Patrick, as we already mentioned, like in the ring, I don't know, that you're sort of almost like, was it too obvious like what was going to happen, you know, like, yeah, I feel like maybe slightly overcooked on this occasion.
Interesting. I think more questions need to be asked about why is Nick Patrick the referee when they've already talked about how much they like him. Like, why aren't the commentators going like, this is ridiculous? Why has Nick Patrick been made the referee again? You know, then the next time maybe I don't know, Bobby or Tanea with Bischoff on Nitro commentary be like, you know, don't you run WCW? What the hell's the deal with this? Why does he keep? I don't know.
Yeah.
But anyway, like, we can take it as serious as we possibly want to and look at these things. We've got to realize it is wrestling. And maybe like not everything can make perfect sense every fucking second and every step of the way. But, you know, like, you know, it is dumb that like it's been 6 days and like Sting hasn't called Lex, or, you know, like they own a gym together. Didn't Lex talk about that? Like,
they're working out in silence, like not acknowledging each other.
Or would Sting be the one who wasn't at Nitro to reach out and say, what the fuck was that? That wasn't me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it wouldn't have to be Luger. It would be the other way. Realistically, it would be the other way around. Like, Sting would be trying to immediately go, these guys are playing you. These guys are playing you. That's not me.
Sting doesn't actually watch the product, so he has no idea.
Oh dear. Kev, what were your thoughts of the main event here? I know going in, you said to me before watching it that you couldn't really quite remember exactly what happened.
Yeah, I couldn't remember like who the fourth member is. I had my speculation who it was, and what it was what I thought it was. But with the crowd chanting, "We want Sting," after the fake Sting came in, told me that they didn't buy that. They knew that wasn't real. So, because that's what I was in my brain, I was thinking, what would have been like back then to watch it live? Were you actually thinking it was Sting? But I think the crowd sort of not buying it told me all I needed to know here. I think they picked the right two guys to start the match, like Hall and Anderson.
Yeah,
them two together, just really great chemistry and just great pro wrestlers. There's a lot in this match, storyline wise, that would progress things. I think this is where we see the birth, really the birth, but the catalyst of the Crow Sting. It starts here, I think, by him, I know, sort of not becoming the WCW babyface guy. He sort of this is what starts the him isolating himself away.
His descent into madness.
Yeah, so there's a lot happens in this match.
Fuck, it's so good, man. I can't wait till we get to that shit.
We mentioned Nick Patrick, like him being the referee and stuff. Like, he could have not been the referee in this match. We could have had the same outcome, really, because he didn't really do much in this as far as screwing anyone over, did he? I mean,
No.
he called it that Luger gave up, but that's about it. So to Blade's point, we probably could have had a different referee here.
Yeah, it could have been
Yeah,
Randy Anderson, you know.
Yeah, but it was it's interesting to hear Blade say that, 'cause, watching it for the first time, it's a little disappointed we didn't have a new member here. That's in my brain as well. It's like, is it Waltman? Is it
Right.
is it the fake Sting? That's what my thoughts were. But yeah,
Okay, fair enough. I guess they're really trying to push this thing where the NWO have fucked with WCW's head. And obviously this leads to Sting feeling betrayed by his friends and the people that should have trusted in him most, which leads him down a very, very strange path where he disappears for some time and then comes back looking different. But it's all compelling stuff as it ends up happening, even if there are a few little plot holes here. I found the match, to me, exciting to watch. Like, every time a new person was entered into the match, to me, I was really enjoying it. I loved Flair when he finally got in. He pulls out brass knucks. I'm thinking to myself, it is nuts seeing Hogan in a War Games match. I don't know if he did. I'm sure he's done one before that, but I thought that the NWO Sting did a good job with his mannerisms, but I could tell, like, again, it was a wide shot. They never showed any close-ups of him. I did like the moment where Sting had finally entered the match, and him and the fake Sting kind of, the fake Sting kind of looked at him like he'd seen a ghost. So Sting leaves, NWO destroys Team WCW. I really liked Luger, crawling and yelling for Sting. So heartbreaking. So anyway, after this is all over, they're copping a beating. Savage has tried to make a save here. He gets choke slammed to hell. Liz shows up, wants Hogan to stop beating up Savage as the cage is lifted. And then Liz gets painted with spray paint. So disgusting. I love it. And then, of course, Hogan gets on the mic. And I'll add a few more notes after that after I throw it to, firstly, Kev.
Yeah, this sort of end segment sort of is a good little bit of business to promote the next pay-per-view, which is a Halloween Havoc. Is that next?
That's right.
So we got Savage and Hogan this one. So this is a good bit of business to accelerate that feud, which has been going for years and years previously before this. So so that's once again making Hogan out to be the biggest piece of shit possible, spray painting Liz, spitting on her, like he's just an absolute scumbag. This is a good bit of business here at the end. A pretty shocking way to end the pay-per-view in a way,
Yeah, it's also kind of shocking to see Liz come out to stand up for Randy after she fucking bailed on him for Rick. But anyway, Blade, what did you think?
Yeah, I really love the blurring of the lines here, and I think especially because from what we've watched so far, like, Liz has been around, but she hasn't really done a lot. She sort of stands in the background, and almost plays like second string to woman, being active with the Horsemen. So it was really great because to me, this was like, this is the next step towards Hogan becoming like a supervillain, right? Like, this is just some downright evil and dastardly shit. Like, he's disrespecting, like, an innocent and beloved woman of WCW. And so it makes him look horrible.
It's so fucking sick.
I love the closing of it all. You've got the NWO take over the commentators booth again. They're up high, right? That symbolism. And then you look down and it's cut in between footage of Liz and the referee helping Savage up the rampway. And it's
Savage.
it's such a great visual when they're cutting between those two things. I think it really drove home, the state of the landscape of WCW at the moment. So, full kudos to the way they close that out.
Yeah, I think it was good that they added a little bit extra here at the end. Poor Randy, he's 2 weeks ago on Nitro, fucking had the shit beaten out of him, had to be helped to the back. The following Monday, had the shit beaten out of him, yellow streak up the back, had to be helped to the back. That's and then the Fall Brawl again. Poor Randy, just copping it sweet again. And he'd already copped it sweet earlier in the evening.
Bash at the beach is getting the leg drop on him. He must fucking hate Hogan.
No, you know what? I reckon Randy understands business, and he understands that
definitely.
they needed to fucking get nuclear amounts of heat on this before anyone gets one over on them. I love Tony Schiavone. One of the last things he said, and this is another Tony Schiavone-ism. Yeah, that's right, motherfucker. It's time for another Tony Schiavone-ism. Yeah. This is the absolute worst moment I have ever witnessed broadcasting professional wrestling. It just tickles me. It's just anyway. We finish off the show. It's NWO Country Fall Brawl 1998. Sorry, 1996. Excuse me. I don't know why I said 1998. But it's over here, guys. So before we find out Meltzer's star ratings and the ratings from cagematch.net and IMDb, I'm going to get your ratings out of 10 for this pay-per-view, starting with Blade.
I'm going to go up here from what we've perhaps. I thought this was a step up on the pay-per-views we've seen recently. I thought there was a pretty solid level of wrestling. I'm going with an 8.
Wonderful.
8 out of 10.
Excellent. Kev.
Yeah, I like this is the first kind of one we've had more, the result of the match than that. The last couple was kind of like that was it. The match ended. Okay, the pay-per-view's over. This had more of a carry-on story at the end, which was a lot more shocking. Where you would leave. I can imagine being like 15, 16 years of age and bringing up your friends. Oh, did you see it? No, I didn't see it. And then telling each other what the hell happened here. This is what he did. He spat on her and did this. Blah, 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 spray. Oh wow. Okay, that's a lot to talk about. So, I'd give her a 7.8.
So specific. You know what? That's so true. Like 2 points there that I really liked. If something big happened, immediately I was on the phone calling my friend Mike. Immediately calling Mike. It would be a race to whoever got to the phone first to call the other to talk about what we just saw. So that's the kind of thing I love. And what was my other point? Yes. So I think it's been great how, Bash at the Beach, the way that ended was, epic with all the garbage being thrown in the ring. Was Hog Wild after Bash at the Beach, or was there something in between? Why can't I remember that? Let me have a look. No, it was Hog Wild was the next one. And that ended with what happened to Booty Man and Hogan winning the belt. And now we've had this happen here at the end of this show. Like the pay-per-views are ending on something hot, not just, oh, yay, we had the finish of the match and that's it. So again, that's really good stuff. And I know for a fact that it kind of continues from there. And continues happening as we move forward through 96. Going back to you guys again here, personal MVP of the show, Kev.
The nasty. No, it's not. Shit. Go to Blade and I'll think about it.
All right, Blade.
Oh, actually, I can't distinguish between one of them, so I'm going to go as a collective. I think the commentary team. I just think they've done such a solid job up until this point of making relevant their points that they're making, right? And we're seeing all of that sort of come to fruition. So as narrators, and storytellers to the audience, like they've done a really great job. And I think, with the addition of Tenay, and especially if he's going to be stepping into more of Gene's sort of role, if Gene is going on break. Yeah, I just think, they've really been the unsung hero of this whole angle so far.
Very good call. Kev, have you decided on
Yes. I'm going to go Macho Man. I think he did a lot of business in this pay-per-view. He sold the next pay-per-view. If you hate Hogan, you want to see Macho Man kick his ass. Even though he lost, it didn't matter. He still was booked strong, did the job he was asked to do. Giant wins, he loses, still looks strong, continues the storyline. I think Macho Man did a fantastic job here at this pay-per-view. Promos, whatever you need him to do, he'll do it. And it's just crazy that at this point in his career, like a year or two earlier, Vince McMahon says you're too old and he wants to put him on the commentary desk. Like it's nuts. Like he's got so much more left in the tank,
Yeah, that's why he left. Fucking hell, Vince. And I'm echoing Kev's sentiments there. I thought Savage he's allowing himself to constantly have the absolute shit kicked out of him because he knows it's going to equate to more ratings and buy rates in the future. So, okay. CageMatch.net, out of 91 people, a 7.91 out of 10. I don't know why I read out this because who cares what 91 nerds thought, but and IMDb from 92 people, a 7.2 out of 10.
Wow, okay.
So that's nice. But here we go. Meltzer. Here we go. His star ratings here. DDP and Chavo, 3.5 stars.
Okay.
Ice Train versus Scott Norton, 1 1/4 star. Conan versus Hoovy, 3 3/4 stars.
Oh,
go fuck yourself.
Generous.
That means he thinks that Conan versus Hoovy match is better than the Rock versus Hogan that only got 3 stars. You son of a bitch. Benoit and Jericho, 4 stars. Highest rated match of the show. Harlem Heat versus the Nasty Boys, surprising, 3.5 stars.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Yeah. Giant versus Savage, 1.5 star.
Fuck off.
He doesn't like the older generation guys, does he? And War Games, 1 3/4 star.
What?
Oh,
come on.
Rough.
Anyway, so okay, we're off to the start there that we always expect.
Interesting star rating there. He gave like highest star ratings to the matches I thought he would absolutely bury. And then interesting.
This is okay. Like, there's a heap of shit from the Wrestling Observer from, I believe it's September 23rd. This came out in 1996, and we're finding out here, yes, what Dave Meltzer had to say.
That's right, it's time to find out what did Dave Meltzer say.
Well, you know what? I mean, I'd have to give that 5 stars.
Rumor has it that Mabel is going to be the third guy.
We begin with the fallout from the Fall Brawl pay-per-view, and Dave starts the issue by saying, great undercard wrestling, bad main events, and booking with more holes than Swiss cheese. Welcome to WCW. So clever, Dave. He's so clever. He goes off on all the flawed booking from the War Games match, and he's pointing out huge gaping plot holes in the WCW NWO mess. Again, this is a recap from someone else. I wish he could have maybe put all of the information of what he said in there, but okay. But in the end, Meltzer says the NWO angle is so hot that it can't be destroyed even by bad booking. And with Hogan changing everything at the last minute each week, nothing makes sense anymore. Fuck off, Blade.
It's such like a weird thing. You know, we talked about this last time. Like, it's a well-established fact that Hogan is not booking at this point. So, like, and do you think he honestly gives a shit? Like, he's cashing his checks, he's doing his movies and all his other stuff. Like, I'm probably gonna say he's not there all the time trying to like yes, Hogan politics, but like at this point he's probably also focusing on like a lot of other stuff. So
he's the champion.
Yeah. Like,
what is it that he's changing at the last minute all the time? Like, the angle's going the way it's supposed to go. Like, they're getting hate. Kevin Sullivan is writing it because Kevin Nash talked about how Sullivan wanted it to be this hot air balloon that just got so big that, you know.
Yeah.
And then every time someone got one over on him, the big hot air balloon went down. That's how he always explained it, and that's how Sullivan explained it to him. But I don't see what Hogan would be changing of everything at the last minute each week. It just, to me, that doesn't make sense because like Hogan's always going up. So what's he changing? Kev,
I don't think Dave actually realizes. Because he obviously doesn't like Hogan. We've established that.
Yeah.
But in a way, by him saying that he's booking this stuff and the ratings are going through the roof of the highest ratings ever, we'll just give the book to Hogan if if he's doing this. If it's Hogan booking it, keep it going. Keep Hogan booking it. You know, like I do agree. I'm going to say I agree. There's a little plot holes involved in this storyline. Not this storyline, but this kind of pay-per-view a little bit. But when there's so much going on, you can forgive it because it's entertaining and it is, you know, there's a lot to the story. There's a story going on. So you can a little plot hole here and there. Okay, whatever. But yeah, but you know, he doesn't like Hogan. Every week we're hearing this now. He's right the show.
Yeah,
So.
it's just I don't know. It's just funny how like he says how shit everything is and how they don't know what they're doing, but like the angle's really hot right now. Like,
Yeah,
it just okay. Like this is your opinion, Dave. You're saying that this is terrible and that no one knows what they're doing, but then also admitting that it's doing really well. So that means like, doesn't that make it sound like that you don't really know what's good then?
yeah. Well, that's evident when like the last couple of years that Dave Meltzer puts
and he
AEW through the roof.
Shit,
saying what they're doing right. AEW's doing this right. AEW's got the great. This is great. Blah 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 blah.
Wow.
It doesn't reflect because no one's watching it, and the attendance, everything's going downhill. So historically, whatever Meltzer thinks is the best thing for business is fucking do the opposite. Go in the opposite direction. Don't follow him.
It's like George Costanza when he did the opposite of everything that he thought he should do. Everything started going really well for him. That's actually a bit different. But anyway, other notes from the show. It took place in the Greensboro, North Carolina area, which is prime Flair country, and they came out in huge numbers to see the Horsemen get revenge on the NWO. Horsemen merch outsold NWO merch by a 4-1 margin, which wouldn't happen in any other market. Benoit versus Jericho and Mysterio versus Super Calo were the show stealers. Jericho was the babyface, but got booed because Benoit is a horseman and the crowd loved him for it, even if he was the heel. They don't know who he is yet, Dave. Like, he's just got there. It's not because of that. Okay. During a backstage interview, Flair kept referring to Mike Tenay's Gene, which was hilarious. And the main event booking was, of course, ridiculous, but the crowd was molten hot for it. So whatever.
What a great summary. So whatever. Excellent point, Dave.
Oh God. Anything to add there, guys? I've still got quite a few paragraphs here. There's so much here.
That's funny. That's funny. Well, whatever. It's like well, he's bothered about it. That's funny. That's
It's like
great.
he's pouting over it.
Mhm.
So the next section of the Observer, this is surprising. He takes a moment to criticize both WWF and WCW for catering to the hardcore fans so much by always making a bunch of insider references or doing angles based on things the casual fans won't get. Dave says the hardcore newsletter internet fans are already watching it religiously. They need to be trying to hook casual fans. Both
Wow.
companies are too busy trying to do big surprises and hotshot angles, and Dave doesn't believe the casual fans have enough interest or insider knowledge to follow along with a lot of it. For like instance, the Razor and Diesel fake storyline. Dave ended his rant saying that the growing popularity of the internet is a good thing for insider type fans because they'll have some control over the business since WWF and WCW seem to be primarily targeting smart fans these days and will likely listen to what the internet crowd wants. What the fuck? Blade.
Wrong.
Wow.
Maybe in today's landscape, sure.
Yeah.
I think that's probably more relevant to wrestling today than it was then. But like, honestly, do you think Vince, and I'm pretty sure we talked about this a couple episodes, do you think Vince gives a shit about what people are saying on AOL online or fucking random message boards? No. No, he does not give a shit what they think whatsoever.
Fuck
Um,
me.
and I'm sure neither does Ted or Eric. Like, these people know TV, they know what they're doing. They're professionals that have, years of insider knowledge. Like, they're not listening to some dude who like is unemployed and has some thoughts and feelings about the latest episode of Raw. Fuck off.
Kev, anything?
I mean, he could say that what he says is correct if you're talking about nowadays. Yeah, he's like it's
Yeah.
almost like it's the future he's talking about, but you can't say that. And then the Nitro rating is up to a 4.2. So is that all the smart fans is watching Nitro? So the casual fans they should be up to a 7. Like what?
Yeah, like
That does not make any sense. I get what he's saying, but it doesn't make sense because the Nitro and the nWBro storyline is obviously resonating massively with the general public and normal people because we see that with the shirts, everyone's wearing them, it becomes part of pop culture. So I get what he's trying to say, but it just does not apply to this at all. Yeah.
well, you think about it, like, okay, Nitro did like I think what was it, 4.3 the prior week, and I think Raw did like a 2.7. So that's Mass is really bad. That's like a 7.0 if you put it all together. Like now, how many people are watching? Like 600,000 are watching Dynamite. Raw, I don't know, maybe that's getting like 1.5 million, maybe SmackDown's getting 2 million. I don't know what the rating point is for that or how that works these days, but like
Raw's lost like more than 50% of the audience since it started on Netflix.
yeah, like the casual fans left. Like at this point that they're watching because there's so many people watching both shows every week, and it's going to get bigger and bigger from there. So like I don't know. I don't really know what he's fucking going on about because
There's obviously a lot of word of mouth going on as well. Like people are telling people, "Hey, check out Nitro. It's fucking awesome. Like so and so's on the show now. Blah 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 blah." And it's a lot of people are talking, and you can see that's what's happening here.
it's clear.
But according to Dave, it's just it's not the casuals. It's just the hardcore smarks. Okay, all right.
Okay, here we go. There's a few more things. JJ Dillon resigned from the WWF the prior week and is reportedly heading to WCW. The news of his resignation apparently caught Vince McMahon by surprise. Dillon was one of the main bookers and main talent liaison to the front office. I don't think he was a booker. I think he was talent relations, wasn't he? But maybe, I don't know. There's no confirmation that he's headed to WCW, but it's widely assumed he is. Dylan will be valuable to WCW because there's a ton of backstage knowledge about the WWF. And as Dave put it, he knows where all the bodies are buried. So WCW stealing away is a pretty big deal. Okay. I'm just going to move forward from that. I don't know if there's anything there. A woman called the WCW offices last week complaining because her 5-year-old had spray painted NWO on her 1-year-old. I hope that's true.
I actually heard this on the What Happened When podcast. Conrad said the exactly the same thing to
Really?
Tony Schiavone. He never heard anything about it, so
Really?
it could be just Dave Meltzer making some shit up. Surprise, surprise.
Where the fuck did the 5-year-old get spray paint from? And how is the 5-year-old allowed up that late to watch Nitro on a Monday night? Fucking hell. Last week on WCW Saturday Night, they did an angle where the Giant destroyed a Cadillac that was supposedly Lex Luger's. In reality, they rented the Cadillac and had an agreement with the rental place about how much damage would be done to the car. The Giant ended up doing way more damage than they agreed upon, and the rental place refused to take the car back and wanted it paid for. WCW made Giant the scapegoat, and he ended up having to buy the car himself. What? Get the fuck out of here. There's no way. That's insane. Blade.
It's like the call about the commentary table with Hogan and Giant. And it's like, what? Like
$40,000 damage to that commentary table made of wood.
Yeah. Yeah. No, this is all pre-planned. You know, like the car's not moving. They probably bought it from a wreckers. Like, you know, like there's 100 answers, you know, like it just, I don't know. Dave really grasping at straws again. Slow news day. And slow day at the office in general, seemingly.
It's like they only smashed the windows, didn't they? I know Giant stood on top of the fucking thing, but
yeah.
Kev, any thoughts there?
Yeah, this was another little story I heard on the What Happened When. But yeah, Tony Schiavone doesn't recall Giant paying for it. He said that WCW footed the bill for that one.
Okay.
And they said that that they weren't afraid to spend a bit of money breaking stuff to you know enhance the story or whatever. So wasn't
okay.
No.
Okay, that's good. Thank you for that, Kev. So
yeah.
all right.
Did a little research before tonight, you know.
Very nice.
But it's kind of spoils me hearing what you're telling me, right?
No, I get you, but it's nice you're now debunking some of the things that Dave said in his newsletter. Here we go. 2 more paragraphs, okay, guys? WCW plans to have the world title vacated in November, with the winner of the World War III pay-per-view 60-man Battle Royal being declared the new champion. Dave said the plan is for the title to end up vacant every November and for the Battle Royal to determine a new champion to become an annual event. The main reason they're doing it this time is to get the title off Hogan without him having to do a job for someone. What? That sounds like the biggest load of fucking made up horseshit I've ever fucking heard. It never happens. It doesn't happen. Kev.
What? Like why?
Why would they do this?
Just to save Hogan doing a job. There's plenty of ways you can get the belt off him without him losing. You know, that just seems like a very strange way to go about anything. What? Why? What?
Why would anyone suggest that? Why would anyone think that's a good idea? The title end up vacant every November, and you know, Blade.
It would completely ruin any lineage and consistency of like having heavyweight champions in knowing that in November someone is always going to drop the title. Like, who gives a shit about storylines leading up to November then?
Yeah, and here's the thing. Starcade's the next month. It's the fucking biggest show of the year. And they're going to have a vacant champion the month before, then have a 1 month. No. No.
It's like a title reign is like a presidential. You get this much amount of time, and then you can't do have it again. You got to give it up. What the fuck is that?
That's fucking horseshit, man.
I'm the champion. I'm the champion. I've won this time. Nah, you got to give it up. It's November now. Come on,
Look,
top it up. Give it back.
I'll give Dave a little bit of a pass here, okay? Maybe someone from WCW was fucking with him and to see if this would get into the newsletter. Maybe. Okay, final paragraph here, guys, that we can sail off into the sunset. The current plan is for the NWO to take over WCW Saturday Night for 1 hour each week. Ted DiBiase will be one of the commentators. Dave thinks the NWO having their own show is a cute idea. I don't know if he would have said the word cute. I mean, I think the NWO are having their own show is a cute idea, but he's not sure how it would work. Would they wrestle WCW guys? Then it's clearly not a separate promotion. Will they be wrestling each other when they're all heels? They also had plans to create NWA tag team titles, but that plan has been dropped for now. That's the final thing I had there. Blade, anything to say?
Like, I mean, even if they were wrestling WCW talent, like the reverse would just be like brand everything NWO, like make it an NWO themed show. I mean, fucking none of us are buying that's a completely separate organization. That part is really completely like unmeaningful in the grand scheme of things, right? Like it is an entity under WCW. Just theme it as an NWO thing. I mean, I know they did it down the track with Sin. Was that the pay-per-view that they did? That was NWO?
Oh, sold
thing?
out.
Sold out, sorry. But yeah, like, I can't see it being that much of a stretch. So like, yeah, just do the reverse. Everything NWO branded. They can have their own titles, like whatever. Like they could easily make that work.
Yeah, it'd be interesting if they tried that, but the thought, the mere thought of them wrestling each other, that's just no. That's not what the whole premise of this is. It's not for them to create their own company to wrestle each other. No, they're here to take over WCW and fuck it up. Right. We've come to the end here, guys. Unless Kev, you have anything to add here?
Yeah, I got a bit of insight in this one too.
Oh.
Everything is said there is true. Like they were going to make Saturday night the NWO show. But the problem was that for the NWO to do that live, they'd have to do it live because that's the way they operate. And so matching up Nitro with the Saturday night was going to be too much of a budget issue. Like it would cost them a lot much because you couldn't pre-tape the show because it'd have to make sense from Nitro. So they brainstormed the idea of having titles like the NWO World Tag titles and World Title, but yeah, in the end they sort of said, nah, it's maybe not a good idea. So that's why it's sort of, but it was talked about apparently. So
interesting, very interesting. Yeah. Well, thank you for that, Kev. And I think though, again, they wouldn't be wrestling each other. They would probably they would wrestle on Nitro against WCW people, and WCW people might go wrestle them on their show. That's just what makes the most sense to me. Anyway, it's getting towards midnight here now, guys, and my room right now is a sauna. I have severe under boob sweat going on right now. I'm sure, Blade, I can see your hair moving, so I know that you've had a fan on you as well this whole time. Kev, is your office where you're sitting right now? Is that room? Does that get hot while you're doing this? Because I can tell later.
I got the air conditioning hit me right in the face. It's beautiful.
You son of a bitch.
You have ducted air conditioning.
No, it's a little unit.
Oh, okay. A nice unit. Yeah, me and Blade just have fucking oscillating fans. Like mine's right here and it's not doing anything.
That's it. Every Thursday we're going to Kev's house to record the podcast.
It makes you guys look like you're working harder than me.
Oh dear. Anyway, okay, we've come to the end here. I really enjoyed this episode, guys. Throwing it, of course, to you, Kev, once again. Any final thoughts, and where can everyone find you?
Final thoughts would be like I could see that we're going in another, not a different direction, but you can see the pay-per-views now like are giving you that sort of, the ending is giving you that sort of payoff where you're like, oh yeah, that was fucking awesome. You know, you want to tell your friends and you want to talk about it. So that's good. I think we're gonna see a bit more of that in the weeks and months to come. But yeah, you can check me out on I'm on Facebook, Kevin Current Music. On X, I'm Hailmary Kev at Hailmary Kev. Instagram is Kevin Current Music as well. And if you want to check out my music, my band, Hailmary, we're a Hailmary Band page on Facebook and Hailmary Band on Instagram, and pretty much Hailmary Band on everything. So you can find us on Spotify, everything, YouTube, whatever. I was actually thinking of maybe I don't know if just a little short or something, but I've got Disco Inferno and Conan critiquing my music from the Keeping It 100 show. That might be a little cool little thing we can put up.
Yeah, no, I like that. We should definitely do that.
Do you know what? I'm really pissed off, right? Because they used to have Nick Aldis on the show doing all the musical stuff. So I sent my track in. So I've got the juicy seal of approval from Hoovertude, Disco, Conan, Frankie Kazarian, and Joe Feeney, all of them. And Nick Aldis is another guy that was on the show. But I sent my stuff in, and bloody Joe Feeney, he never put my song on while he was there. So I missed out on getting every single possible juicy seal of approval from wrestlers. So Joe Feeney, it's your fault, brother.
Excellent, bro. And Blade, any final words?
No, I literally have nothing to say. There's a river of sweat running down my back currently that has made its way from the nape of my neck right to the valley of my ass crack. So, needless to say, I am looking forward to wrapping this up. But yeah, I thought this was a great pay-per-view. I think the episodes that we've been putting out, we've progressively gotten so much better. You know, our audience continues to grow. We'd love to hear more from you guys. But yeah, please keep tuning in. And I feel like things are only going to continue ramping up from here.
Excellent, Blade. Well, yep. This is a great episode. I really enjoyed Fall Brawl 1996. And as you guys can see, I'm wearing my WCW Slam Society t-shirt. A failed fan club that they tried to start in 1999. And there's not many of these shirts going around. So I thought I'd show it off. It's probably the last time I'm ever wearing it. Because if I wash it anymore, it's just gonna, so one time only, everyone, you get to see me wearing this, and I'm sure you don't give a shit. But I hope you give a shit about finding me on Twitter at Karlifornia nWBro. So thank you, Blade. Thank you, Kev. Great time once again, and thank all of you for joining us here for the nWBro's podcast, episode 13, Fall Brawl 1996. Karlifornia, Blade, Big Kev. See you next time.